This isn't New York. This ain't South Florida, but it's still Marlins and Mets. For the next 3 days, we're in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Hi, everybody. It's a homecoming for the first Puerto Rican-born Major League manager. So how is San Juan? Glad you asked. Beautiful. Great sights, nice beaches, gentle breezes. Hey, it's the San Juan Series. So get your tickets. We've unpacked our gear. Get the cameras ready. Marlins and Mets. It's always fun. It's always tight. And the Mets are baseball's hottest team this past month. So let's go. Marlins, Mets in San Juan. San Juan, Puerto Rico, home of the San Juan Series. Marlins and Mets are in town and ready for a 3-game series. And it starts tonight, Irán Bithorn Stadium in San Juan. The Mets are hot, the Marlins are not. 20,000 expected, the Marlins being introduced. Everybody getting ready for this as the Fish take on the New York Mets. Hi, everyone. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome to San Juan. Now, when Tommy and I got off the bus at the hotel last night, nobody cared. But when Edwin Rodriguez stepped off the bus, everybody cared. This is a big deal. The first Puerto Rican-born manager, Tommy, he manages here tonight.
This is really a terrific moment for Edwin Rodriguez. He's a proud man. He was born here. He's managed in this ballpark. He's played in this ballpark. He's coached in this ballpark. Irán Bithorn Stadium, named after the first Puerto Rican to ever play in the major leagues. Now Edwin comes home to become the first Puerto Rican manager in the major leagues to manage in his hometown. Lots of family. His mom is here. This is going to be a great moment for him.
And while everybody in Puerto Rico is celebrating the fact that Edwin is here, a lot of people back stateside are wondering who is going to manage the Marlins. A variety of reports say that Bobby Valentine is out of the running. Some say he's still in the running. The Marlins say they are still having a very active managerial search.
You know, we hear all kinds of names. We've heard certainly Bobby Valentine. That kind of goes up and down. Edwin Rodriguez certainly is in the mix. We've heard the name Bo Porter, who was the Marlins third base coach. So you never know, and things kind of change inning by inning.
And for this young ball club, they somehow have to pull it together and play well. They need to play well in a hurry right now as the Fish have dropped 4 in a row. And they're facing a guy that really troubled him the last time they faced him.
Anytime you go up against a knuckleball pitcher, you're not sure how his knuckleball is going to work in any given evening. But he beat the Marlins on June 4th, gave up 7 hits and 3 runs in 6 1/3. He's coming off a really good outing against the Tigers, 8 shutout innings, gave up just 4 hits. I was told in that game it took him 2 or 3 innings to get the knuckleball going, but he's been a big bright spot for Jerry Manuel and the Mets. And he goes up against Ricky Nolasco. Ricky has had his struggles against the Mets. There's 3 or 4 hitters that have monster numbers against Ricky. We'll keep our eye on those guys during the game.
R.A. Dickey, Ricky Nolasco, Marlins in San Juan, Puerto Rico. When we get back, we will hear from Edwin Rodriguez. The San Juan Series is next. The Fish and the Mets. and the Marlins getting ready to go. Let's start things down below with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Thank you, Rich. Oh, what a night, certainly, for the Marlins and the Mets in the San Juan series, and in particular for the interim manager, number 36, Edwin Rodriguez. His mother will be here. Lots of friends and family. Could be over 150. And he said, you know what? All my friends, they didn't even bother calling me. They just told me, I'll be here. In the emails, text messages, didn't bother me for tickets. But what a rock star welcome when we arrived at the hotel last night. Music, handshakes, hugs, kisses, you name it, for Edwin Rodriguez at the age of 49, the first ever Puerto Rican to manage in the major leagues. His 8th season in the Marlins chain. We talked with him about the honor earlier today.
I was surprised that when we got off the bus, Mr. Loria, he was the first one that said, this is your time, man, so you're getting off first. So I went off, and there was a lot of friends there, and my close family was there, my mother, my sister, my brother, they all were there. It was very emotional, especially seeing my mother there. She lived about an hour and a half from here, 75 years old, so it was very emotional, and it was very emotional not only for me, for her. So, and the whole country and the music and what they were singing, it was very emotional, but that was last night. So we have to wrap it up and play the game today. It is a dream come true, not only for me, I think for the family and for the whole country, I would say. I think that this is not an individual achievement. I think that this is a collective achievement. There's a lot of people working on that. Many years before I got here. So the Roberto Clemente, the Cepeda, Victor Peyo Power, there was a lot of guys that they went through very tough time, very tough time to make a better to put us, the young people, in a better position. So I really believe, and I really feel like it's a collective achievement. I've really been working hard, trying to keep my emotion under control. Because then again, my priority here is to win some ball games, and I want the players to know that.
All right, Edwin Rodriguez now meeting on going over the ground rules here, where there's a lot of spacious room, particularly away from fair play. Up next, Mets Marlins, Game 1 of the San Juan series. Ricky Nolasco goes against the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. We'll have it for you next.
Ready to go, Marlins and Mets. The Marlins, of course, in these 3 games are the home team. The Mets may be the more popular team here in Puerto Rico, but we'll see. There were applause for both teams as they lined up on the baselines, and the Mets lined up in this fashionable order. Jose Reyes, Jesus Feliciano, David Wright is having a terrific year, leading the National League in RBIs. Ike Davis, the rookie first baseman. Jason Bay in left field. Jeff Francoeur in right. Henry Blanco is going to catch the knuckleballer. Ruben Tejada will man second base with Luis Castillo on the disabled list. And R.A. Dickey, the last time he faced the Fish, hurt him with his bat.
Yeah, and a matchup, Rich, for Ricky Nolasco that's never been an easy one against the New York Mets. Some guys, Francoeur, Reyes, Wright, have all big numbers against Ricky. In his career, Ricky's 4-6 against the New York Mets, but if he has his good stuff, if we see that sharp break on the slider and curveball, the spotted fastball, some changeups, he'll be just fine.
His last time out, he beat Baltimore, and that was at Camden Yards. He obviously didn't pitch in the weekend series against the Padres. There was a frustrating series for the Fish as they were swept by San Diego and had trouble scoring runs in all 3 games. Edwin Rodriguez getting ready to go. And here is Reyes. Ricky misses high with a fastball. Reyes, 279. I don't think it's any coincidence that the Mets have kind of taken off or had their resurgence as Reyes has gotten a little stronger, a little healthier, and back in the lineup. And has allowed David Wright to become the RBI guy and drive-in runs. And Reyes hitting 279, 13 doubles, 6 triples, and a lot of back at the top of the order. Hammers that pitch to right field. Stanton over to get it. Artificial surface, but it is field turf, so it's not the quick type of AstroTurf.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy right there in Jose Reyes. And taking off when he took off. Here's the defense with Coughlin, Cody, and Mike Stanton in the outfield. Cantu, Hanley, and Dan Uggla, and Gabby Sanchez around the infield. Ronnie Paulino, a workhorse, is behind the plate once again. Reyes with 19 steals. The Mets as a team, 74 stolen bases.
Jesus Feliciano, who stands in. He is 31 and has spent a lifetime in the minor leagues. Reyes bluffs. Paulino's throw, got him! Picked him off first base.
That's how you take care of some energy real quick. Sometimes you get a up. Jose Reyes looked like he was going a little fake a few steps, and how about the quick snap throw by Ronnie Paulino to get him? No question that he got him.
So an out and a 1-0 pitch coming to Feliciano. And he takes outside. Feliciano called up, finally getting to the big league. And getting a chance to play in Puerto Rico, his native country.
There's so many rich storylines in this series, and Feliciano is certainly one of them. Here he is, all those years in the minor leagues, gets called up in his first road trips to his home country. Born in Bayamon, Puerto Rico.
Even played in Mexico in his long stretch. 90 in Yakima, Washington, when he signed as a 36th round pick of the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's a strike. Unlike players in the Dominican Republic or Venezuela, players in Puerto Rico are subject to the Major League draft. And that has changed the dynamics of baseball here in Puerto Rico. Ground ball. Uggla knocks it down. Danny throws to first in time. Mets have hit a couple balls hard against Ricky, but he's got a couple outs, and here comes David Wright.
Well, you look at Jerry Manuel and you say, well, the Mets are having success this year. They didn't last year. He's got a lot more healthy players. he has a more productive David Wright, who's getting ready to stand in right now. His bullpen has been tremendous the last month or so, and he's got a solid starting rotation.
And that's, I think, maybe the biggest surprise of all for the Mets is the fact that the rotation has been solid, despite an injury to John Maine, and despite the fact that it's not Johan Santana that's been lighting it up lately. Mike Pelfrey has kind of been the ace, and there have been other guys that have really produced. R.A. Dickey, tonight's starter, has yet to lose a game.
Believe it or not, Santana probably the least of the 5 starters as far as the way he's been pitching.
0-1 to right, and he fouls it off. As Tommy pointed out, the Mets have a few guys in their lineup that have really crushed Ricky. Reyes is one. His average is now over 385 with that base hit. Wright is at 386 with 3 career homers, and that's in 44 career at bats.
Yeah, Reyes with 3 home runs too. So between those 2 guys, 6 home runs, and then you add Francoeur. He has hit Ricky Nolasco well.
Ooh. Let's take a look. Fox Tracks brought to you by Toyota. We brought it with us to Puerto Rico. Smack dab in the middle of the strike zone.
Pretty good pitch right there. He came back with a better one.
Nice job, Ricky Nolasco. The Mets are finished in the first. Up come the fish in Puerto Rico. Hanley Ramirez in short. Jorge Cantu had a 2-hit game on Sunday. Dan Ugo, then Cody Ross, who's riding an 8-game hit streak. Ronnie Polino is hot as well. Mike Stanton is not. Ricky Nolasco hits 9th.
It's kind of a crazy series because the Marlins have won 6 of 10. There have been some sweeps. R.A. Dickey, part of that 3-game sweep of the Mets up at Citi Field. The Marlins had a 4-game sweep of the Mets at home. So they'll try to go after this knuckleballer. We'll see how it goes. One of the things that he impressed everybody with at Citi Field in that start against the Fish, a lot of strikes with the knuckleball. It was a harder knuckleball than you're used to seeing. But he'll use a couple of other pitches if he has trouble throwing it over.
Floats one up there to Coughlin. That's a called strike. Coughlin, Gabby, and then Hanley Ramirez. You see that 75 mile an hour in the knuckleball. He can range it anywhere from the high 70s, even to touch the low 80s every now and then. And then he'll drop down into the 60s as well.
And as often, we talk about just as tough a pitch to call as a home plate umpire, too.
Dickey has gone 3-1. The home plate umpire is Mike Everett, Adrian Johnson, Tim McClellan, and Andy Fletcher, all here in Puerto Rico to call this series. And Coughlin walks. See, Dickey will mix in a fastball here and there. That last fastball missed.
Yeah, it depends on the hitter. Depends on the situation. Jason Bay, Jesus Feliciano, Jeff Francoeur in that outfield. David Wright, couple of Gold Gloves. Reyes, Ruben Tejada, Ike Davis is the first baseman, and Henry Blanco is behind the plate. I think Blanco's had a little better success catching R.A. Dickey than Rod Barajas.
The last time Barajas did catch him, he didn't catch him all that well, to put it that way. Here's Gabby now. Runner goes. Blanco's throw is not in time. Coughlin is in there. Late getting to the bag was Ruben Tejada, and Tejada's momentum took him to the third base side of the bag. Let's watch this again.
You got a guy behind the plate, a veteran who's thrown out over 40% in his career. But Tejada, a little late. The peak by Chris Coughlin and a good slide to that corner of the bag, and he was able to get in there. Really, Tejada not in a good position to field that throw either.
Gabby drops down a bunt, third base side. Dickey bare hands, throws to first in time. And so Gabby pushes Coughlin to third base. You would expect, as hot as Sanchez has been, that he did that on his own.
Yeah, he did the other day. We've talked to him about that when he has that opportunity. And I'm guessing, I'm not 100% sure, but I would guess that he did that on his own. Dickey, as he showed us in New York, a pretty good athlete, had a couple of hits in that game.
But the Marlins have a chance to get on the board here. And Hanley stands in.
Infield's at halfway. That's kind of interesting here in the first inning.
Yeah. On the carpet. I mean, on this stuff, halfway is almost as good as playing in.
So, in essence, they are in.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Cogs is going on contact.
0-1 to Hanley. And Hanley fouls it off. This ballpark, dimensions-wise, is average to a major league park. It's 404 to straightaway center, 375 in the alleys, 325 down the lines.
A lot of foul territory. A lot of pop flies will be caught.
Oh, 2. And he fights it off.
We told you absence and departure of Dave Collins, now the new first base coach, roving outfield instructor, been in the organization a few years. Tarek Brock is there. And I guess all of these guys are good baseball men that have joined Edwin Rodriguez's staff, but their knowledge of the other teams is very minimal, because they've not seen the Mets or the Phillies or the Braves or teams like that.
Sure, because they've been instructing in the minor leagues,
yeah,
roving in the minor leagues, or managing in the minor leagues. Dickey misses up. R.A. Dickey is 35. Talk about a guy that's had to overcome a lot in his career. He's out of Nashville, Tennessee, and played at the University of Tennessee. Coughlin at third. 1-2 coming to Hanley Ramirez. Knuckleball, ground ball. Here comes Coughlin, and it kicks by Reyes, who may have taken his eye off the ball to watch Coughlin. And the Marlins are on the board first.
And I think part of that, too, just not used to this turf. It's not the real fast stuff, but I think you play halfway, ball with a little top spin. I think it just got by Reyes and fooled him.
This is the first game the Mets have played on turf for about 5 seasons. They went to Toronto, I believe, in '06.
He didn't even touch it. And it's going to be an error charge to Reyes.
Hanley Ramirez is going to get an RBI, and that will be an E6.
Hanley may not waste much time in trying to steal either. When you're on carpet like this with the dirt cutouts, you always look for a runner to get a good lead. You'd like to see that right foot on the carpet, the other foot in the dirt. That tells me you got a pretty good lead.
Jorge Cantu, mired in a big slump, had a couple hits yesterday, and he takes a strike. High pop-up, and here's that foul territory coming into play. Davis is after it, and it drops between Davis and Tejada.
Well, I think a little miscommunication between the first baseman and the second baseman. It's really the second baseman's ball. He has a better angle, but right here in the first inning, we're seeing that monster foul territory come into play. Tejada looking, nobody really called for it. He didn't call for it. He's the one who needs to. And I think he thought Davis was going to get it.
And he kind of made a half-hearted effort at the last minute. That very easily could be an error as well. 0-2 to Cantu.
Funny story about Jorge Cantu today. You and I are both laughing.
It's a great story. The bus schedule for a road game is bus leaves the hotel at 4. Players stretch about 5:15. Batting practice starts at 5:30. So the 4 o'clock bus leaves, and Tommy, who do we see on the bus but Jorge Cantu?
So Ricky and Jorge Cantu.
Cantu hits that ball in the air to left field. Jason Bay to the warning track, and he makes the catch. Hanley is tagging, Hanley is running, and he's in there. Good hustle by Hanley Ramirez.
But to get back to the Jorge Cantu story.
About halfway there, Jorge Cantu gets a call on his cell phone, and the question is, Jorge, where are you? And he says, I'm on the bus. And they say, Jorge, we're taking batting practice right now. And he says, well, why are you taking batting practice now? And they said, Jorge, the Marlins are the home team. And Jorge says, oh, no, I'm sorry. Tell Edwin I thought, tell him I'm sorry.
He felt bad, yeah.
The funny part is, and don't tell this to the Marlins or Edwin.
This is just between us.
Just between us. He hung the phone up and he said, it's a knuckleballer. I don't need to take batting practice. There's Uggla. And that's a strike.
Well, I'll tell you what, he had a pretty good at bat and just got under that fly ball that he hit to left field.
Uggla's numbers have dipped of late. Dan sitting at 14 homers and 41 runs driven in. Doubled yesterday. Hanley's out at second. Dickey misses outside. R.A. Dickey, first round pick of the Texas Rangers back in 1996.
It's been a long and winding road here.
After they drafted him, one of the Ranger team physicians, in looking at a picture of Dickey on a collegiate, I don't know if it was the cover of Baseball America or some publication, Dickey was standing with a couple of teammates, a couple of other college players. The physician looked at his arm and said, you know, something doesn't look right. And the Rangers ordered an X-ray or an MRI of his elbow and found that he had no ulnar collateral ligament. And so he went from a guy that was about to sign for over $1 million to a guy that signed for $75,000. It's bat night, courtesy of Dan Ugly. First guy in that section.
You know, there's so much foul territory, Dan's not even going to walk over there. He's going to say, keep the bat. Muchas gracias. Oh, all right.
Is that a tradition here in Puerto Rico, Tommy? What's the deal?
Yeah, even if you're a Mets fan, you want that bat. I've been trying to get a read on the crowd, and I think it might be leaning a little more Mets, but I heard that there were a lot of sales for this game when people found out Edwin Rodriguez was coming with the Marlins as the manager.
Now it's full now to Uglu. Got his bat back. He didn't even ask for it back.
No.
The fan just tossed it back. We'll see if the fan gets a souvenir. 3-2. That's a pop-up. David Wright makes the catch. Well, the Marlins get a run and lead it. Return to sender. Bases in the Diamond Dash, 1877 Marlins. Tommy, I'll pay you an undetermined amount of money to wear that Santa hat on that Sunday.
Could be a little warm that Sunday.
That's what I'm saying. Ike Davis, Jason Bay, and Jeff Francoeur against Ricky Nolasco.
There are a couple of things, well, three things really in my mind. We've talked about the pitching that have gotten the Mets on track. Reyes certainly back in the lineup and hitting. Wright in his production. And Ike Davis. Rookie has settled into the cleanup spot.
Hasn't been spectacular, but has been very solid. 14 doubles, 9 homers. Uglu picks it up. Fires on over to first in time. In your time in the big leagues, Tommy, you got to play on a lot of artificial surfaces. Yeah. And you were a slick fielding first baseman. Easier for an infielder on something like this as opposed to the regular diamond configuration?
I think easier if you're used to it. Because if you're used to it day in and day out, you're used to the ball getting to you a little quicker. You get truer hops, higher hops. But if you don't play on it very often, and that's where at least both of these teams are equal in this series.
Here's Jason Bay.
You're not going to get that bad hop. The only time you get a bad hop is if it hits the seams in that cutout area around the bases.
Bay picked up career hit number 1,000 yesterday. And he drives this one to right center field. That ball's hit well. It's deep, and it's gone. Certainly a much better hitter's park than both Citi Field and Sun Life Stadium. And I think Jason Bay just proved it. That ball isn't out of either of these two teams' home parks.
Yeah, a lot of Met fans have been saying, where's the power from Jason Bay? That's just his 5th home run of the year. But it's also the 18th home run that Ricky Nolasco has allowed. And it just snuck out over at 375 mark, and you're absolutely right. It is not out of Sun Life Stadium. It's not out of Citi Field.
Jeff Francoeur swinging at the first pitch and fouls it back. Francoeur comes in at 270, 8 homers, 40 RBIs. I would add Francoeur to that list of reasons why the Mets are playing better as well.
Yeah, you start adding those names. No wonder they've gone 23-9 their last 30.
Francoeur's on base percentage at .320, and for him, that's saying something. Ricky busts a fastball in and strikes him out.
It's a good pitch to a guy who's giving him trouble. There is a list of those home run numbers, and Ricky giving up the one to Bay, now just one behind Dan Herron. A couple of lefties, Hamels and Wolf.
Here's the veteran catcher, Henry Blanco. The Mets actually are carrying 3 catchers: Blanco, Barajas, and Josh Tolle. And they're on their roster right now at just 11 pitchers, which is low by Major League standards. Most teams have 12 at the least.
So a little extra maneuverability on that bench for Jerry Manuel.
Jerry Manuel said, look, if we have one bad start and I got to burn some relievers, we can always call up a pitcher the next day. And that's kind of the way he's playing it.
That's not a bad theory.
Of course, baseball doesn't have the taxi squad or the emergency squad, guys that travel around and don't dress and they can suit up the next day. You still have to get the guy from your AAA affiliate or AA affiliate, wherever they are playing, and physically get them to the game the next night. And that sounds easy, but it depends. Sometimes your AAA team is out on the West Coast, or you're on the West Coast, they're on the East Coast. The guy you want is pitching the night before.
I think that's why it's been a nice marriage for the Marlins to have teams in Jacksonville and New Orleans closer by.
So would you say that's a marriage of convenience?
I would.
Here's the 2-2. That's down low. Yeah, Ricky, with that bounce back win against Baltimore, his previous 6 starts have been awful, and he didn't start that game out well. Almost hit hard but foul.
That's right. All 4 runs were in that second inning, and we commented at the time when he went on to pitch 7 innings, that was one of his best starts this year, even though you look at the line and you see 4 earned runs.
The Marlins won that ball game by a score of 7-5. They had beaten Baltimore 10-4 the night before. On a hop, Hanley straightens up and makes the throw in time. But and Jason Bay has tied the game.
I think you saw that big hop there, too.
1-1 in San Juan. on the rail.
Yeah, the dugouts are a little smaller. The clubhouse is smaller than Major League standards, so some of the tall, lanky pitchers trying to get a little more leg room over in the Marlins dugout. I think it's worth noting that Edwin Rodriguez had a meeting before the game and certainly wanted to make it clear to his team that I'm here now, and while I'm here, I want to win. And yeah, this is a vacation-like atmosphere, but we're here to play baseball and we're here to win.
And while the bullpen has been the biggest problem for the Marlins this year, that really wasn't the problem this weekend against San Diego. A strike, says Adrian Johnson. Cody Ross says no way. And let's see, way or no way, Tommy?
Well, I say no way, but it's close.
That's not the game. The game was way or no way. Ross swings and misses. I mean, the pen much maligned, and for the Marlins, rightfully so. It's been an issue. But you look at that San Diego series, and the Marlins scored a grand total of 3 runs in 3 games on only 23 hits.
Yeah, it's the third time this year they've had a stretch of 3 games where they've been held to just 3 runs. And I think that in itself indicates the up and down nature of the offense.
Here's Ronnie Paulino. Paulino out of the Dominican Republic. There are fans that have come from the Dominican Republic to see some of their favorite players. Of course, this was not a good place for the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic last year. This is where they went down to the... It was a star-studded Dominican team. Reyes, Hanley on that team. Dickey thought he had a strikeout. Miguel Tejada was on that infield. Big Papi was on that infield. Ubaldo Jimenez on that team. Carlos Marmol on that team.
Did you see where Big Papi went with Covey Cove last night?
Yes, I did. That was something. Edinson Volquez was on that team. Johnny Cueto was on that team. Pedro Martinez was on that team.
Many people picked that team to win it all. The Dominican team.
Willie Ibar was on that team. Puerto Rico did just fine. They ended up winning and advancing to Miami, along with the Netherlands. 1-2 coming from Dickey. It's down low.
I think you'll see the home plate umpire tonight, Mike Everett, take a little time. He can't really call those strikes early. He really has to take a little extra moment.
The one thing that Dickey's really been able to do that's been impressive is change speeds on his knuckleball. And that's a little different than your garden variety knuckleball thrower. Ronnie kicked it foul, and he may have been fortunate. I think that ball was sitting on home plate.
It's almost like a couple of those balls Ronnie fielded the other night.
Watch this. It's on the plate, and he kicks it. He should. You know what, Tommy? He should be out.
He could be called out for that.
He should have been. Both of his feet were out of the box.
Mike Davis, the first baseman, is talking to Adrian Johnson, the first base umpire.
Both his feet were out of the box, and he kicked the ball, which was in fair territory. Well, the Marlins got a break. 2-2's coming. Well, down he goes anyways.
I think the other thing about Dickey is that you see consistency in strikes with that. Ball pitchers from start to start are very inconsistent. He's around the strike zone with everything. That ball just dive bombed out of the zone, but got Ronnie to chase it.
All right, what's going through the head of Mike Stanton right now, Tommy? We've seen him struggle at the plate, struggle especially with fastballs. Tonight, he probably ain't going to get too many of those.
Man, he gets one. Can you believe it? First pitch. You know, going through the head of Mike Stanton right now is just try to make some contact. You've got a pitch that you don't see in the minor leagues. He was not up with the club when we last saw the Mets. So this is their first look at Mike Stanton.
And his first look at R.A. Dickey. Stanton shoots it over to the right side. Tejada flips to first. And we played 2 innings in San Juan. 1-1.
My old pal, and I think Tommy knows Murray Cook very well, used to handle the fields in West Palm Beach when the Braves and Cardinals played there. Talking about this synthetic turf, it's actually used in Tampa, but it is different. It is much faster. Murray Cook told me the reason is because it's older. It was put in here in 04. The Tampa turf is newer, and he said that as the years go on, turf like this gets slicker. Joe Espada talked about that too. With the humidity and some moisture occasionally, it'll get really fast. He also talked to his infielders and catchers, and Tommy, I think you referred earlier, the incredible amount of foul ground there is, even for example, on a routine ground ball base. There's so much room here. He wants Dan Ugla coming over here to back up the play and be ready in case you have a wild throw. You could gain 2 bases. Same thing for Paulino on a little pop-up. Come over here to this side. And for Gabby Sanchez on a play normally that would be in the stands, they really have to run everything out because it could stay in the park. I stepped out home plate to the back. I got about 24 steps. That's maybe 72, 75 feet. At the Marlins home park, the new park, it'll be about 47 feet between the plate and the backstop. A lot of room here.
And that used to be standard in most major league stadiums from home plate to backstop, but a lot of the new stadiums are closer, and even some of the older stadiums, they've added stadium or Kansas City and cut down that distance. Breaking ball from Nolasco to Ruben Tejada.
Yeah, those are some good points that Marlins third base coach Joe Espada made to his players. I mean, you maybe tend to forget about that in a new ballpark.
Soft line drive, Stanton comes on and makes a sliding catch. Mike Stanton has been impressive in right field.
Boy, that was a nice play. Good jump. He stayed with it. Concentration. Here's another thing to keep in mind if you're an outfielder. you have to make the right decision. If you slide or dive and it gets by you on this turf, it's all the way to the wall. So again, other outfielders need to back up. You always have to be aware of that.
You can see his wide receiver skills as he goes after balls. Here's Dickey, and he takes a strike. Dickey had a couple of base hits when the Marlins faced him up in New York.
Yeah, one was in a situation where you thought he was going to bunt. He squared the bunt, pulled the bat back, and slashed the base hit just over the first base bag.
Ricky's out in front 0-2. Little roller up to first. Sanchez steps on the base. And there are 2 outs to open up the top of the third.
You have to concentrate to remember if it's the top or the bottom half.
Yeah, because it's really odd. I mean, to us, a road trip is a road trip. You get on the plane, you get off the plane, you go to a hotel, you're thinking it's a road trip, but actually for the it's a home game.
I'm pulling my stuff out of the suitcase and seeing you out by the pool in the gym. I know it's a road trip.
Yeah, it's odd. This is actually a very long road trip for the Marlins. 4 cities, 14 days. Sanchez gets to the bag. Reyes is out, and Ricky works a nice, clean top of the third inning. Got it. 1-1. Frequently lauded graphics coordinator. Nolasco, Coughlin, Sanchez, Dickey. There's his fastball. It comes in at 85. And a strike to Ricky. R.A. Dickey was not a knuckleballer when he came out of Tennessee. We told you about being drafted by Texas and the whole medical issues he had.
Yeah, I think he still holds the University of Tennessee wins record, 38.
But as his career kind of got stuck in neutral in the minor leagues, then he started to throw the knuckleball. Ricky drives that ball to center field, hits it deep. Feliciano goes back, and it's going to bounce over the wall Nolasco's got himself a ground rule double.
Swing it, Ricky. That's his 4th hit of the year, and probably the hardest hit ball he's had.
That's the hardest hit ball he's had since 2006 when he homered against the Cubs.
Got a knuckleball, too. It's our checkers double of the game, chasing Jesus Feliciano, who was not playing deep, and rightfully so. And Ricky just shot it over his head, one hop out of here. Get a lot of that on fields that have hard warning tracks and AstroTurf, too.
So here comes Coghlan, and we'll see if the Marlins can construct a run here in the 3rd. Coghlan drops down a bunt. Dickey has it, fires, safe. Davis came off the bag to get the throw, and that's going to be a base hit.
Well, it should
Chris
be.
Coghlan.
Yeah, and it is. Just perfectly executed by Chris to get the job done, but put it in a spot where the only play was for Dickey to get there. By the time he planted and threw the ball, Chris beat it out. But good job.
So here now is Gabby, and Gabby had a sacrifice bunt back in the 1st.
Now you want Gabby to swing away.
Yes, you do. Well, good things have happened when Gabby has swung away lately.
See, Ricky just excited to swing the bat again. Remember in Baltimore, his last start, he didn't get the hit.
Gabby takes inside. Coghlan. Chris had a stolen base back in the 1st, his 8th.
Good move, as we chronicle all the time. Knuckleball pitchers have to work on all facets of their game, and everyone I've ever known has had a good move to first.
Gabby drives that ball in the gap, right center field. Coghlan around 2nd. Let's see if he can score. Ricky will score. Coghlan around 3rd. Espada will send him. Here comes Coghlan. He is going to score. And Gabby Sanchez continues to pile up numbers in what has been an outstanding rookie season.
It's a nice little, I think, battle within a battle of a couple of guys who are in talk of Rookie of the Year, Ike Davis and Gabby Sanchez. Gabby gets a little one-upsmanship so far with a double to the gap. His 18th double of the year, and oh, by the way, he leads rookies in that category. Here comes Coghlan. He's being waved by Joe Espada. And Gabby Sanchez with 2 more RBIs has 36 now.
And the Marlins have a 2-run lead, and Gabby's in scoring position. So 18 doubles, 36 RBIs for Gabby. Jason Hayward is the RBI leader amongst rookies. He's hurt. He's been out of the lineup for the last 3 nights with a sore thumb.
Kind of an interesting scenario. He got off, Hayward did, to such a good start. And now with the injury, he's kind of cooled off a little bit. So everybody kind of bunched up. It'll be interesting.
There are your RBI leaders. Brought to you by Lexus. JM Lexus. Leaders of the game.
Gabby leading rookies in batting average, hits, 2nd in that RBI department.
Dickey came inside. That one goes to the screen. Gabby moves up.
This is where it gets frustrating for a catcher. And keep in mind now, knuckleball pitcher, man at 3rd base, tons of home plate.
And Blanco is the best of the Mets catchers at catching Dickey.
That'll be a pass ball.
We told you that Barajas, his last time out, really struggled. And it is a thankless job. Hanley drives it fair. Down the line it goes. Gabby will score. Hanley round 1st. Into the corner goes Bay. Hanley round 2nd. And he'll stop there with a double. And the Marlins with a 4-1 lead.
Hanley Ramirez takes that knuckler that was up in the zone right way off the line, not expecting Hanley to pull it. When you saw that ball go by, you didn't even see David Wright. So Hanley picks up RBI number 45.
3 doubles in the inning. 17th of the season for Hanley.
And the Marlins now with 4 straight hits off R.A. Dickey.
Cantu takes inside. Anything different in this approach as opposed to the last time they saw him on June 4th?
No, it's like I said, it just depends on how his knuckler's going. He doesn't have the same bite and movement. See up high. He doesn't have the same command of it as he did in New York.
He didn't give in with a fastball. You think Cantu's going to get a fastball here? 3-0?
Yeah, I said earlier, a lot of it depends on the hitter and the situation in the game. I'd be surprised if he got a fastball. He could, though, and I think this is where you look for it, though.
You got it.
You look for it there. If you get the knuckler, you just take it.
He got it, and it's essentially a batting practice fastball is what it is. He got 2 of them.
Yeah, I think sometimes in situations you just look for it. And if you get the knuckler, you can identify it soon enough that you can take it.
Got the knuckler, and he pulls it foul. Cantu hit a fly ball to the warning track and left. There's Hanley. Still nobody out. Cantu checks way. He went.
We've seen a couple of those called already by Adrian Johnson. And, yeah, he took it around.
Saturday on Sun Sports, it's Wade's greatest games. Tune in for 12 hours of unforgettable Dwayne Wade moments in his already legendary 7-year Heat career. Wade's greatest games, only on Sun Sports. Saturday it starts at noon, but now you can log on to foxsportsflorida.com and tell Wade why he should stay in Miami. That's not a recruiting violation.
No, well, is that an NBA violation?
No.
Okay. I guess we can do that then.
It's down to that now in the NBA. It's free agents.
I think we're getting a call from David Stern.
Ugla fouls it back, and it's 1-1.
Is that my phone or yours, Buzzy?
That's not. He doesn't have my number. Hanley jumping around. Ugla fouls it back.
We got a shot, Rich, to get a foul ball up here, I think.
Yeah, this is a...
we're very vulnerable here, I believe.
Close proximity, closer, much closer than Sun Life Stadium. And a very low home plate screen. So
here we are.
Especially with a guy like Ugla. You're right. We got a good shot. And that was...
Yeah, usually that screen is elevated, but that was just below us.
The thing we don't have is a basket. Normally in most ballparks they have a basket, so if Like if I were to knock your binoculars out or my computer go out, it would save those.
They're gone now.
Items. Ugla, big two hopper. Reyes rifles it over in time to get Ugla. Marlin fans, the Marlins need your help to make this year's National League All-Star team. Still time to vote. Go to Marlins.com today. Vote 25 times, and you can get free Marlin tickets. And you'll be automatically entered to win a suite for 12 and an autographed All-Star poster. Visit Marlins.com now and help the Marlins get to the All-Star game.
Boy, the next pitch thrown by R.A. Dickey will be number 60.
Cody tried to check his swing back in the second. Reyes doesn't get that one. And Hanley races around third. Boy, Jose Reyes. And maybe it is the turf, Tommy.
The turf's eating him up tonight. I mean, I hope Cody Ross gets a base hit, but it was a ball that was catchable by Reyes. You look at how far to his left he had to go, not that far, just didn't get down on it, went off the end of his glove, and we'll see how they rule it. Not an easy play. I think Cody should get a base hit, but it's a ball that Reyes and Hanley Ramirez and the Major League shortstop needs to make.
Here's Paulino with Cody at first. And it's a high pop into right center field. Francoeur calls for it and makes the catch. But the Marlins, with 3 doubles, 4 hits in the inning. Be a question. Full bars here in Puerto Rico. Native Puerto Ricans. Who is the New York Mets all-time hit leader for native Puerto Ricans? Well, the most popular Puerto Rican Met is not here. Carlos Beltran. Carlos Beltran is still about a week to 10 days away.
Yeah, he's playing for Port St. Lucie, Florida State League. He played 7 innings the other day, got 3 hits, played center field.
Jesus Feliciano, a great homecoming for him. Long time in the minor leagues to play here in his home country. And joining us now is a guy that certainly has to be proud. And Skip, I know for you last night was a very special moment when you got off the bus.
Oh yeah, it was a very emotional moment for me. Coming for the first time to Puerto Rico after being named interim manager for Florida Marlins, especially when my mom was there waiting for me.
Now, all the pomp and circumstance is great, but there's 3 ball games to be played. And I know you had a meeting with your ball club. Can you give us the theme of your talk with your team today?
Well, I just want to get my point across, or I just want to make sure that the players knew that although there's a lot of festivity around, and that this was a very big day celebration for me and for the country. My mind and my priorities are in order, and I want to win these 3 ball games that we're playing here against the Mets. So that was my point, and I think that they got the message.
Feliciano pulls that one to Dan Uggla, and he fires it over to first.
And Edwin, I think we all know there's still 6 more innings to play, but the message seemed to get across with a nice 5-1 lead so far.
Yes, I mean, we will have to go back to basics. Moving runners, making contact with runner in at third base, and less than 2 outs. And I think you can see the energy out there. I mean, they've been playing hard pretty much the whole year. But I think once in a while it's nice to make sure that they go back to basics.
David Wright standing in against Ricky Nolasco.
Edwin, when you're managing New Orleans, you're in AAA, how closely do you follow the big club?
Well, because we play pretty much at the same time, I'm not able to follow the game, play by play, but I do work. I mean, I do follow the stats, box scores, how many innings the pitchers are throwing. It's pretty close. Pretty much, I would say that every other day I would go back and take a look at the last 2 games to see how they're doing, and mainly the pitchers, how the pitchers are doing.
This has really been a celebration of Puerto Rican baseball, the San Juan Series. Vera Clemente throwing out the first pitch. It was great to see Joe Espada get to go out and catch that first pitch. When you were growing up here in Puerto Rico, who was your hero? Was Clemente the guy, or was there a guy that came after Clemente that you looked up to?
Well, on the field, the sport hero, I have to say, it was Roberto Clemente. He was the guy in Puerto Rico, and he still is. And so I have to say that he was Roberto Clemente, and he was the one driving everywhere in Puerto Rico to do some clinics. So he was the player that you can see him on the field, you can talk to him on the field. So I remember when I was 8 years old that I met him, and I shook his hand, and that was a thrill for me.
David Wright with a 2-2 pitch from Nolasco on the ground. Hanley bobbles, picks, fires, gets him. Nice pick by Gabby at first base.
We've seen a few infielders, Edwin, have a little trouble with the turf. I know Joe Espada talked to them. The fast turf, a little different than what they're used to.
Yes, it is a very fast turf, and not only that, they have some soft spot in the infield, and the ball kind of died in the infield, when it bounced. So you saw that on Jose Reyes, very good defender, and now you saw what happened to Hanley too.
You don't run into any artificial surface in the minor leagues, do you?
Not so far in the Pacific Coast League, but there's not too many. There's not too many out there. I don't want to say any. There's no any out there, but there's not too many.
And by the way, we have to let our viewers know Cody Ross did get a base hit on that ball that was to Reyes' left.
Here's Ike Davis. Marlins up 5-1, top of the 4th. And a swing and a miss. Now, word is, Skip, that you live, 5 minutes from here?
Yes, well, I'm originally born and raised in Ponce. That's outside of Puerto Rico, about an hour and a half from here. But about 12 years ago, I moved to the San Juan area, so I live about 5 minutes from here.
So you got a chance to sleep in your own bed last night.
No, not really. The kids and my wife, they want to stay at the hotel, so I have to stay there.
All right. Good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for the visit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Good man. Top of the Mets, bottom of the fourth inning. Fish coming up. Mike Stanton gets a chance to see R.A. Dickey.
And Rich, it does feel like a home game. It's warm, it's humid. We had a tremendous afternoon shower.
Great lightning show, a lot of thunder as well. Dickey picks it up, flips it on over to first, and Stanton is retired for the second time tonight. Big inning for the Marlins against Dickey, the third. The Marlins banged out all 5 of their hits, scored 4 of their runs.
Hard to think against a knuckleballer, but there's one thing I'd like to see more from Mike Stanton. Clear your head, forget about all the stuff, have some rips. If you swing at a bad pitch or two every once in a while, so be it. Let it fly. He looks very tentative. And again, it's tough to say and judge against the knuckleballer tonight.
Ricky crushed the knuckleball, so Dickey throws him a fastball.
Ricky Nolasco owns R.A. Dickey.
That one pops out of the glove of Blanco. Not easy to catch a knuckleballer, is it, Craig Minervini?
Oh, not at all there, Rich. And in fact, Henry Blanco is becoming kind of the favorite catcher for Dickey as the last one up. Let's see if Reyes can get this one. A little sarcastic roar. R.A. Dickey actually has given that glove to Blanco. Dickey carries it around and has given to his catchers in the minors and even here in the majors. A few weeks ago, Barajas had catching, and the Mets ordered a new glove. The glove is more similar maybe even to a first baseman's glove with a catcher's padding than a normal catcher's glove. It's large, as you can see. The new one, though, Barajas likes is breaking it in, but Blanco doesn't like it. Hasn't gotten comfortable with it, so he's using that old mitt right there that has been a favorite so far with R.A. Dickey. We say old, but not in the Little League terms of old. They always look shiny.
Well, and you got a guy back there, Henry Blanco, who has been around the Blanco a time or two. He's caught. He was at one time Greg Maddox's personal catcher when he was with Atlanta. So he's in his 13th, 14th year as a major leaguer. So he'll make the adjustment, believe me.
Well, if you were paying attention on April 11th, when the Marlins faced Charlie Hager, the knuckleballer for the Dodgers, It was young A.J. Ellis that was catching him at that point, and he was using Josh Bard's glove, and that was from the time when Bard unsuccessfully with the Boston Red Sox was trying to catch Tim Wakefield.
So I'm actually thinking.
Davis picks it up.
Close community of knuckleballers and knuckleball catchers. Classy, nifty little second baseman.
Boy, Beltran can't be far behind, can he?
No, not too far. 743 for Mian. I played against Felix Mian in Double-A, and Mian's third baseman was Bobby Cox.
Really?
Yeah, in the Texas League.
That was before Bobby Cox's knees went out.
That's before his knees went out.
Our cold, hard blast of the night. This is how the Mets have their only run. A Jason Bay homer to right.
Yeah, really the only blemish. Ricky threw 4 innings, 49 pitches, 38 of those strikes.
Bay was on that breaking ball but pulled it foul.
Of course, in that outing in Baltimore, Ricky gave up those 4 runs, won the game, went 7 nice innings. But the 4 runs came on some home runs. Luke Scott, Adam Jones chipped in with the long ball.
Mets are 9 over. They open play a half game behind Atlanta. Atlanta locked into a scoreless duel with Washington. That's a Steven Strasburg start.
Pretty good matchup. Tim Hudson on the mound for the Braves.
Scoreless in the bottom of the 4th in Atlanta. Braves have 4 hits against Strasburg. Bay swings and misses. Paulino drops it. And he fires it down to first. So that completes the strikeout.
Boy, that was that nice changeup. The little split grip that Ricky uses.
A Marlin fan here in Puerto Rico. There's been Marlin fan sightings. A lot of them have made the trip. Vancouver fouls that pitch off.
Saw a lot of Marlins fans in the beautiful Intercontinental Hotel here in San Juan. Gorgeous surroundings at the hotel. Great area.
It is a terrific area. There's a group of hotels on that beach.
Yeah,
Marlins.
I think the Mets are like a hotel away, a hotel or two away.
Yeah, the host hotel for the Marlins goes right out onto the beach. A lot of Marlin fans, Marlin sponsors. 0-2 to Francoeur. He buries it. 1-2. Henry Blanco will follow.
You know, in doing some notes and numbers on this series, I came up with one certainly that doesn't apply. The home and road record of Ricky Nolasco. Where do you factor this one in? You'd like to say road because he's not into his normal home routine, yet the Marlins are the home team tonight and all 3 games.
So I guess it's bad news, though, for the Mets, who have been such a good home team this year. The Mets in their home ballpark, one of the best in baseball, 28-12.
And there are those numbers for Ricky.
So does this, I mean, in the ultimate, when you break down a guy's home and road numbers, this is going to go as a home game.
Yeah, it will. When in fact it really should go as a road game. We can make that happen.
Outside corner. Francoeur is rung up. But as confusing as that is for the Marlins, just think how the Toronto Blue Jays feel right now, having played a home series in Philadelphia.
Yeah, let's see where this strikeout pitch was. Right on the outside corner. Ricky has good command of that fastball. We've seen him use that. His breaking ball, the changeup. Good stuff tonight from Ricky Nolasco. And the Marlins broke out of their scoring doldrums in that 3rd inning, putting 4 runs up on the scoreboard. Had trouble scoring. Has more runs than they scored the entire San Diego series.
Yes. Blanco here in the 5th. Nolasco. Good sharp breaking ball.
Yeah, good slider.
The is it the ball boy or is he a security guard?
I think he's security, and he's saying that's not my job.
No. Maybe they were told no foul balls. Somebody runs on the field, you got him.
Then I got him. I got to save my energy for trespassers.
Tell you what, there are a lot of people here from Major League Baseball, and they have done a seamless job of getting both of these teams into town, into their hotels, to the ballpark.
Up in the air on TV. Our good friend Russ Gabay, certainly responsible for a lot of that.
Here's the 2-2. Counts full. Judy Acombe for Major League Baseball. Back to Ricky. Flips to first. 1, 2, 3. Go the Mets. Ricky Nolasco is cruising. That's 11 in a row. We have imported the world's most dangerous tape room, led by Steve Cardamone here, to Iram Bithorn Stadium. Which Walsh, Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, our entire Fox Sports Florida crew. And our thanks to Bobby and Gordy, who got here a couple days early. They had to cable the entire stadium.
Hats off to Bobby and Gordy. They got this thing done in rain, in heat. And you talk about cable. They're dreaming of cable. They're having nightmares at cable right now.
But they have this thing television ready. And here is Gabby Sanchez with Anthony Ramirez and Jorge Cantu to follow against R.A. Dickey in a 5-1 game. Fish on top.
Gabby's now hit in 10 of his last 12 games.
You know what's amazing about R.A. Dickey? And it just occurred to me to look. He's nearly hit 3 or 4 Marlins. He hasn't hit anybody this year. For a knuckleballer, that's almost impossible. Gabby sends that one to right field. And Frank Coor makes the catch. Time for the Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beards. This was Gabby Sanchez dropping the ball in the cap. This was the 3rd inning, and it knocked in 2. Gabby gave the Marlins the edge. You too can keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard. I mean, Dickey nearly hit Hanley twice in an earlier at bat. Hanley fouls that one into the seats. All right, Dickey, once he decided to go all knuckleball, so to speak, went to a former Marlin, Charlie Huff. Also has spoken with Phil Niekro, Tim Wakefield. You talked about the close group of knuckleball pitchers.
You know, if you follow the plight of knuckleball pitchers, they all, as you pointed out with Dickey, and the same was true of Charlie Huff in instructional league, when they basically told him he didn't have very good stuff and he better come up with something different. And so he learned the knuckleball. But usually they go through that period where, you know what, they're mediocre, their careers kind of leveled out, and they try to come up with a new pitch.
And for every R.A. Dickey or Charlie Huff or Tim Wakefield that reinvents himself, there are dozens and dozens of guys that can't master the pitch, and their careers are over.
Because everybody thinks they can throw a knuckleball.
Well, because everybody at some point or another hears the words that you just said. Your stuff isn't good enough. And so, in order to stay in the game, there's a lot of guys that try it.
Guys, Huff told Dickey that he learned to pitch in one day, and he did. But it takes a whole career to command that pitch.
Hanley is thrown out. Reyes going deep in the hole.
That time, Reyes appeared to be a little more comfortable on the ground ball, and it showed off that strong arm that he possesses.
Here's Cantu. He's flied out and struck out.
Dickey has settled in after that 3rd inning. He had an 8-pitch 4th inning. He's gotten a couple of quick outs here in the 5th.
Cantu, fly ball left field. He just missed that one. Bay is there, makes the catch. 7 in a row, and a 9-pitch inning, the bottom of the 5th. Be going on at 7:35. You can be down there partying. Meet Billy and the Mermaids. Win tickets to upcoming games. Enjoy 4 for $12 buckets of Corona and Corona Lights. Marlins baseball. Watch party style. Ricky Nolasco in control in this one in a 5-1 game. The rookie Ruben Tejada leads it off. Mets second baseman.
Even though, Rich, it appears that R.A. Dickey has really settled in. He's had an 8-pitch and a 9-pitch inning. Because we're back in the National League, Jerry Manuel will go to his bench. He has Alex Cora on deck. Parnell's in the bullpen, so it's the type of thing we talked about in those American League games. You get a pitcher that gives up some early runs and then looks to settle in, which Dickey has. You could leave him in.
Tejada hit the sinking liner that Stanton snared while sliding out in right field. This is a surface in which they do play some soccer. So they use this stadium also as a soccer stadium.
Yeah, you can kind of see just the remnants of the soccer markings.
Tejada fighting off a fastball.
You know, we saw Ricky. I was talking to some people after the game. In the game in Baltimore, we saw 94, 95 on his fastball, but everybody was saying they had a fast gun in Baltimore. He's more around what we've seen tonight, 92, 93. But still, very good stuff tonight.
You know, I wish you could make that argument when you're pulled over for speeding. Officer, I think you have a fast gun.
Yeah, there's the high, 93, but we saw 94s and 95s.
This is Baltimore has a fast gun, officer.
Yeah. I beg to differ with you, sir.
I usually 65, 66. Tejada goes down, swinging.
Oh, it was Bobby Parnell. Now it's Fernando Nieve.
Baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head in one spectacular night. The summer's biggest event as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2010 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 13th, live from Anaheim at 8 Eastern, only on Fox. The applause you hear is for a native son, so to speak, a former Hurricane, Alex Cora. He and his brother Joey. Both.
Alex born in Caguas.
Yep. And raised here, and both he and Joey went off the island and went to the United States to play college ball. I believe Joey played at Vanderbilt, and of course Alex played at the University of Miami.
Terrific career for the U.
There's a very good article in the New York Times today about baseball in Puerto Rico and how procuring talent from this area has really changed over the last 10 years. And that's because of the draft. The pitch is inside. And that's because now, as we told you, Puerto Rican players have to wait until they get through high school before they are drafted. There's a look at Cora when he was playing for the World Baseball Classic team, national team of Puerto Rico. And so there's a lot of young players, young Puerto Rican players, who moved to the States to play high school ball, because not a lot of high schools in Puerto Rico have teams. They have summer teams, they have weekend teams.
That's different for the youngsters in the Dominican, Venezuela.
There's many more baseball academies there.
And the academies in those countries, teams can sign a young kid at the age of 16.
Ricky with a good fastball. strikes out Alex Cora. Puerto Rican legends. There's been some great ones.
Boy, Pudge, Roberto Alomar.
The Alomar brothers, and their father, Sandy, coming off the island here. Pudge.
Juan Pizarro. We're going to ask Cookie and Tony Perez about Juan Pizarro.
Reyes.
13 straight retired by Ricky Nolasco after the home run of Jason Bay.
This is the kind of run that he was on after giving up those 4 runs in Baltimore. Reyes ripped a breaking ball in the right field back in the first, but then was picked off by Ronnie Paulino.
You never know how the tone of the game goes. If he steals second, the Mets get something going.
Reyes put a little pressure on Jorge Cantu at third base.
That's a nice subtle little way to stop something, and it was a great throw by Ronnie Paulino.
So they have the modern amenities here.
Many fans travel to Puerto Rico.
And with that, the inning ends, thankfully. A high fastball. Nolasco strikes out the side in the 6th. Puerto Rico. Some vintage Tony Perez for us to watch. That looked like the Ethos pitch from Bill Lee in the World Series.
Bueno, Tony, estamos en la segunda mitad de la segmentada y estamos hablando ahora con Tommy, con Richie. Hi, Tommy, Richie.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Tony is working with Cookie Rojas.
Yep.
Apparently, you guys are in the penalty box. Is that what's happened there?
That's what it is, yes. We play against Brazil today, but the two sides of the ball game.
Hey, good memories for both of you guys. I know Tony lives here and spends a lot of time here, but good memories for both of you guys to come to Puerto Rico?
No question. I lived here in Arecibo, Puerto Rico for many, many years, and Tony the same. He's so life since we left Cuba. We came over here and they opened their arms, and we lived in this island. It's a beautiful island, great people, great baseball, and we're very, very happy to be back here.
It's my second home.
And so you had a chance. Obviously, we just talked at length, as you see, Fernando Nieve about Roberto Clemente and his legacy. So you had a chance to play against Clemente in the big leagues as well. And tell us, if you can, what type of man was he? What type of player was he?
Well, he was one of the best players that you can talk about it in Major League Baseball. He could do it all. He could run, he could throw, he could hit for power, led the league in hitting. He was the MVP, hit 3,000 hits. I mean, you name it, what you can do in baseball, Roberto Clemente did. And one thing outside of baseball was the fact that he defended all the Latin American players and all the black players in that era, which was very difficult to play, as you well know, because of all the things that were happening. But he stood up, he spoke in very plain language that we deserve the same things, the same opportunities, and that was the kind of man that Roberto Clemente was.
So he had a profound, as Davis goes back to it, he had a profound impact on both of your guys' career then, because not only did you play with Clemente, but after he tragically passed away, you were still in the game.
Absolutely. I think that that's the reason why you admire those type of players, and you admire what they do. And not only he did that in baseball professionally, you know, for his own sake, but when that happened in Nicaragua with the earthquake, immediately he moved himself to try to help those people, and that's how he passed away. But he will live here and will live in baseball forever.
There's some great old footage there. That was the looked like the Dominican dandy pitching there, Juan Marichal, in that clip of Clemente.
That's another great ones from Latin America.
Yeah.
Very great player too.
So what do you guys think of tonight's ball game? The Marlins handled the knuckleballer pretty well tonight.
Well, we're very happy because we scored 5 runs, so we're leading 5-1. We got 5 hits, and we're coming out of it, and we see Ricky Nolasco pitching a great ball game in control totally of the Mets, and I think that we and Tony are very, very happy. We're going to celebrate.
And one guy who really enjoyed it is Edwin Rodriguez over there in the Marlins dugout.
Yeah, you see, Cookie, once you get rid of Raul Stryker. See, once you get rid of Raul and you get Tony, you're okay.
Well, he can hit, man. They always did. No question about that. And we miss Raul, too. You know, he's our buddy there.
All right, guys, have a good show.
You too.
You too.
Cody Ross to right field. That's well hit. Francoeur looks up. That ball's gone. Top of the wall. It bounces out. Cody Ross, his 7th of the season. And it's 6-1.
We talked about the one Jason Bay hit that probably wouldn't have been out in either ballpark, and the same could be said of Cody. So he loves it here at Hiram Bithorn Stadium, too. Cody with a couple of base hits tonight, 2 RBIs. Saw his dad around the pool today, so his family's here for a little vacation. So got that off Fernando Nieve, who's come in to replace R.A. Dickey.
Ronnie Paulino now. He takes outside. Paulino has struck out, and he's flied out. And Dickey went the first 5. Nieve misses outside.
Lately, Rich, it's been a good bullpen for the Mets. Overall, their bullpen has won 13, lost 14, but has an ERA of 3.38. Compared to the Marlins bullpen ERA at 4.73. We pointed that out against the Padres. We saw their great bullpen, but the last month or so, the Mets bullpen has been real solid.
That's only the 2nd run the Mets bullpen has given up in the last 27 innings. That's Padre-like. Rodney late on that fastball. It's 3-2 now. So a 6-1 lead with Nolasco in cruise control.
Yeah, Ricky having retired 14 in a row.
Over the mound, Tejada makes a nice play. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the fish. They're still scoreless in Atlanta. Steven Strasburg and Tim Hudson. Strasburg in his 5 innings has 5 strikeouts, 4 hits, a walk, Hudson's gone 5 2/3, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, 3 hits. Although Hudson's pitch count is up over 100, so he isn't going to last much longer. And Strasburg is sitting at a low number at 61.
That's the one thing, among all the things that Strasburg has done, that has been so impressive. The ability to control 3 pitches, keep the walks down, and get deeper, I think, into games than they thought he would.
Stanton hits a liner right at Reyes, who makes the catch. But nobody caught Cody Ross's ball. A drive to right center is 7th of the season. Game for the Fish, so the number teardown continues. And earlier tonight, Vera Clemente and Billy the Marlin tearing down the number, and she's now with our Craig Minervini.
Well, thank you very much, Rich. Thanks for helping us with the countdown, Vera. How exciting is it to have baseball back in Puerto Rico and have a major league game here?
It's very excited, and I'm very happy it was a success. The game tonight, the people here love baseball always, you know.
People of baseball loved your husband, Roberto Clemente. What do you consider his greatest legacy? Is it his work outside the game even more than his work in the game?
Yes, I always said that he died the way he lived, always helping others, you know.
This is his son. Look at the resemblance, guys. Luis Clemente. Luis, tell me about your memory, because you're 44, so you were young when he passed away in 1972. But you do have memories of his major league career.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I remember hanging out in the clubhouse with Dad, father-son's game, the way he was around the house, the way he was around the other players, and a lot of incredible anecdotes that I get from the players that used to play with him, things that a lot of people don't know, and that has made me I do things the way I do, because by relating to that, they say, so it's great.
You probably didn't realize how great a player he was as a young kid, and maybe you appreciate that more as the years go on and people talk, wow. I mean, I remember I was only 7 or 8 years old. His great arm and his ability. I remember his card, Roberto Clemente in action, his baseball card.
Right. You know what? Where I really get excited is when I talk to other former players that used to play against him, and they tell me how he actually changed the game, the way it was played. No one would actually take a turn when they step on first, because they would get the ball right behind and be out, and it would be very embarrassing. So, it's great stories that I get from a lot of the players.
Big is this story, Major League Baseball, Marlins, Mets in Puerto Rico, and Edwin Rodriguez, of course.
huge, huge. You know, there's a great baseball legacy. The fans love baseball here in Puerto Rico. Having Major League Baseball come back every now and then is a great example for the new generations to follow. You know, baseball and their favorite players. So you know, it's really good what MLB does for Puerto Rico whenever they come down.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for your time.
Likewise, and good luck.
Thank you, Vera.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, back over to you.
Outstanding stuff from the Clemente family. David Wright rolls one into center field for a base hit.
I've mentioned it before. I was very thankful to play my first full year in the major leagues in 1972, and that was Roberto Clemente's last year. So able to see him up front and listening to his son talk about that big turn around first base. As far as I remember, he was one of the first right fielders that his son was right. If you took too big of a turn on a base hit to right, he'd fire that ball behind you in a hurry and try to get you at first base.
Ever get you?
No, not that I remember. But they never used the term five-tool player. Back then, he was a five-tool player.
Ike Davis way out in front. Nolasco had retired 15 in a row before that David Wright hit.
Ike Davis made the jump. He was in A-ball and Double-A last year. And I think really for the lack of having a number 4 hitter and for wanting to split up Wright and Bay, Jerry Manuel inserted Davis in that number 4 spot. This is the 36th game he's hit in that spot.
And you would think in a week to 10 days, he's probably going to move down the order when Carlos Beltran comes back.
You would think, yeah.
And that's if everything goes well. And Beltran has been playing rehab games in the minor leagues, has been able to stay healthy. Angel Pagan is not on the disabled list, but Pagan has a sore side. That's why we've seen Feliciano.
It's interesting, the 3 center fielders that the Mets are using and one in the minor leagues on rehab are all from Puerto Rico. Angel Pagan, Jesus Feliciano, and of course Carlos Beltran.
Good breaking ball by Ricky, and Davis goes down.
8 strikeouts for Ricky Nolasco tonight. He's had it all going.
Jiffy Lube Marlins Fiesta Friday on the 16th. The Marlins and the Nationals. You can play Billy Bingo. 2,500 winners will get a Marlins All-Star poster courtesy of Franklin Communications. And 100 will be autographed. 1-877-MARLINS. Or visit marlins.com.
My addition isn't very good, especially in Puerto Rico. When I get out of the country, it's even worse. 9 strikeouts for Ricky. That ties his season high, by the way.
Jason Bay to right field. Stanton to the wall. Reaches up. And it's gone. Twice Jason Bay has gone to right field for home run. This a 2-run shot. And it's a 6-3 ball game.
It's going to be hard to get Jason Bay off the island. He already loves hitting in this ballpark. Just sneaks this one out of the reach of Mike Stanton, who gives it a great effort. Times it, leaps, can't quite get there. Number 6 on the year for Bay.
Jason Bay last year hit 36. Tapper back to the mound. Ricky picks it up, flips on over to first. Another home run by Jason Bay. But Ricky Nolasco's ball club is still on top. 6-3 here in San Juan. Had the 7th inning stretch. Jason Bay. Iram Bithorn Stadium is a good place for Jason Bay. In the bottom of the 7th is Emilio Bonifacio, who leads it off with Coughlin and Sanchez to follow. That means the end of the line for Ricky Nolasco. Nieves' 2nd inning in relief, and he misses out. Nolasco, 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 9 strikeouts, and no walks. Bonifacio pops up that bunt and an easy play for Davis. If you've just joined us and you've missed the highlights, here's our game summary.
Well, this ball gets by Jose Reyes, ball hit by Hanley. A run comes in, scored. Jason Bay quickly tied it with a home run. But Gabby Sanchez, stay hot, Gabby. 2-run double into right center. Hanley takes a double up the line. Cody Ross with a base hit that scoots by Jose Reyes for an RBI. And then Cody the other way for home run number 7 on the year. And then that guy, Jason Bay, once again, he's hit 2 tonight. But the Marlins have a 6-3 lead.
Chris Coughlin. He'll take a fastball for a strike. Coughlin has a bunt single. He is 1 for 2. He's walked and stolen a base and scored twice. Brian Sanchez in the bullpen.
As we watch Brian Sanchez, my insiders letting me know that Clay Hensley had a nice inning up in Jupiter at Roger Dean Stadium, had a strikeout. Carlos Beltran in that game, 1 for 4.
Nice. And so the Marlins hope to see Hensley when they get to Atlanta, and the Mets are hoping that Beltran joins them later in the week.
So all of this just falling together, especially as we get close to the 8th inning.
Count 1 and 2. Emmanuel watching, and he felt that his job was in jeopardy after a slow start by the Mets. But the Mets, over the last 32 games, have been the best in baseball. They've been 23-9. They've been the best in the National League in June at 17-6. Coghlan gets into that one. Right center. That's deep. That is gone. Chris Coghlan, his 5th. And the Marlins playing long ball tonight. That's their 2nd.
Well, what a nice approach by Chris Coghlan. Had himself a base hit in the 3rd inning. It was a bunt single. Trying to move runners. He beat it out for a single and then puts a charge into one into right center field. So Cody Ross, Chris Coghlan have gone deep. Look at this swing. Compact. Little breaking ball. Middle of the plate. And a line shot.
So Gabby's up now. The count's 0-1.
Fernando Diego.
Oh, he just got under that one.
He just got under it.
Hey,
I tell you what, if he doesn't get under that one goes over the bleacher seats.
It's out on the freeway. Coors Light freeze cam time. This was a big play. This was the pickoff of Reyes, who got aboard to open up the game, freeze it. Gabby got the glove down and then sold the call. He may not have tagged Reyes, who brought one hand back and tried to slide the other in. But Paulino got the pickoff, and Reyes got our frost brewed Coors Light freeze can.
Yeah, you're right about a play setting a tone. I know it was the first batter of the game for the Mets, but you just never know what Reyes might do if he steals the bag and what the Mets might do in that inning.
How nice would it be for that man to come home and win this series? Yeah, obviously it's a big deal. The first Puerto Rican-born manager. And to actually manage in Puerto Rico is an incredible coincidence. Well, as he told us, he sat the team down. He said, look, it's great to be here, and I'm proud and all that, but let's win.
Yeah, there are a lot of pomp and circumstances going around, but we're here to win games.
Hanley fouls it back. Normally when the ball club pulls up to a team hotel, it's, you know, maybe a few autographs.
This is what Rich and I usually arrive to.
Yeah, right. Lots of music, lots of hugs. His family was there, family and friends.
His mom, about an hour and a half away, his mom lives.
High pop. Ike Davis squeezes. And the Marlins are done in the 7th, but not before Chris Coghlan knocks one out of the park. San Juan, Puerto Rico. Rich Welts along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome back. It's been a nice stay so far here.
Absolutely.
In Puerto Rico. And last night we saw that Edwin Rodriguez had the great welcome with the music and the band. And you jokingly said that's the welcome we usually got. Last night, our Toyota Trend is coming up. On this date, you can see it right there. You were 4 for 5 with 2 homers, a double, and 4 RBIs. Now, I assume that's a Seaver start?
No, it actually wasn't, believe it or not. It was not. The highlight of the day, I was on Kiner's Corner after the game. That was a good day. Del Unser had a good day that game, too. We both felt good about our afternoon at Shea.
Well, last night in the lobby, there were a lot of fans that had your baseball card and wanted autographs last night.
I was surprised. I forgot that those baseball cards circulate here, and there were a few. That was fun, but not quite the accolades that Edwin got as he came in.
Josh Tolle is pinch hitting here for Blanco. Brian Sanchez is on in the 8th inning, and you know what that means for the Marlins. That means try to get that bridge built to Leo Nunez in the 9th. Into right field, base hit. It was Sanchez who yesterday gave up the 2-run homer to Will Venable in the 8th inning. And the Padres would go on to win the ballgame 4-2.
You know, you would love to see Brian Sanchez take charge, have some success in a time or two in this 8th inning, because what that'll do when Clay Hensley comes back, that'll move Brian back to the 6th or 7th inning and give him more confidence. But a good start for the Mets with that base hit.
Ruben Tejada. Marlins saw some of Tejada earlier this year. There's the Mets bullpen. Igarashi.
Now some of the Met fans here in attendance getting their chant going.
Cantu holding Tolle on at first. Sanchez misses away with a breaking ball. It's 2-1.
So I'm guessing what, Rich, 18 to 20,000 here?
Capacity is about 20,000.
Or maybe 18 or 19.
I would put that right around 18. I was not here with the Marlins when you guys came to play
in 04
against the Expos.
Had a 3-game series against the Expos. I don't think we had near capacity. We had good crowds. I don't think they were near capacity.
3-1 to Tejada. There is a strike. Frank Robinson is here tonight. Baseball legend, Hall of Famer, and now working with the commissioner's office, working with umpires.
A feared hitter, a fearless hitter, and a tremendous Hall of Fame career.
Coming from Sanchez. He got him. Big out to get. The first out here of the 8th. Chris Carter is coming up now for the Mets.
Well, that is a big out. Brian makes a big pitch. Looked like that split. Keeps a runner totally at first base. And Jerry Manuel's going to go with a pinch hitter again.
Time now for our Home Depot doing more on defense. This was the Mike Stanton catch. Sticks the landing. Home Depot doing more on defense.
Chris Carter in a little situation like Wes Helms got a chance during interleague play. He started 7 times as the designated hitter. So he got a chance to maybe get some more at bats to help himself as a pinch hitter. Chris Carter is a pinch hitter this year, 4 for 17.
And he pops that one up to right. Stanton will have a good long look at this one. And so Brian Sanchez, 2/3 of the way there from getting through this 8th inning. Up comes Reyes. Off-speed pitch.
Yeah, the split is dancing around, moving nicely for Brian Sanchez tonight. That's a good equalizer to left-handed hitters. Again.
Most guys that throw the split will start with the split grip. So once they get it in the glove, it's less noticeable when they change from the split grip to the fastball grip, as opposed to having to go fastball out to split. You can see the glove move, you can see the hand move a little more.
I'll tell you what, that looks like a good ball to throw. It looks like it has a little cut on it. Yeah, it would be harder to have your hand in the glove and then go to the split grip. You'd be more likely to give it away. Easier to go to another grip.
Uh-oh. Brian Sanchez strikes out Jose Reyes. Good to see Sanchez, after giving up the 2-run homer to Venable yesterday, comes in a scoreless 8th tonight in San Juan. their homemade flying machines quite unsuccessfully off a 30-foot ramp and into the water. Visit RedBullFluteTagUSA.com for more details. I like the magic carpet ride. It is a spectacle. Part dance, part novelty. Not much flying. The flute tag in Miami. Tommy, you and I have a good friend that's getting ready for that flute tag. We will unveil details of that later.
Yeah, in
the week.
We'll hold back on details, but we're looking forward to it.
And it's not Alfredo Amezaga either. It only stays in the game.
And Ryoto Igarashi comes in to pitch. Second man out of the bullpen. Marlins touched up Nieve for a couple of runs on 2 home runs. Cody Ross and Chris Cotton. But Igarashi, a part of that bullpen that has had success. I was just thinking, Rich, watching, we've talked a lot about the enormous foul territory, and watching a few hitters. It's a tough night to strike out, because when you strike out, you got a long way to go back to the dugout. That's not a good feeling.
There it is. That's the long walk back.
Yeah, that's a long walk.
One of the things I remember about the World Baseball Classic here in 2009, this game is going on right now. There is a concert going on right outside the stadium. And I don't know if you can pick it up at home on the crowd mics, but up here in the broadcast booth,
there's a live band out there.
It's blaring. So I think we should send Craig out there and maybe have him sing a few songs, or
get in the mosh pit.
Yeah. It's kind of the Puerto Rican version of Super Saturdays, only they have the concert during the games.
Yeah, every night is Super Saturday.
Sábado Gigante. Well, that's right. We've got the Cantu Cam. And it's only online at foxsportsflorida.com. So does that mean we won't get any of the best of the Cantu Cam? Only online, a web exclusive. The website paid for the Cantu Cam. We can't use it, but you can see it on foxsportsflorida.com.
Good curveball by Igarashi. As fastball, slider, curve, then a little deception with the delivery.
Here's Uggla, who is 0 for 3. It sounds like in the booth. It's like when you're sitting at home and some kid drives by in his car with the windows down.
He's got the bass blasting.
And the whole house shakes.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
You're stopped at a red light.
Yes.
And that guy pulls up next to you.
That's what it feels like right now.
Well, we told you it'd be festive here in Puerto Rico.
It is festive. 1-2 pitch. That misses inside.
Well, the Marlins just thinking about, they're not thinking about the music right now. They're thinking about snapping a 4-game losing streak. Fish have gone just 9-14 in the month of June.
Hugler rips that one to left field. Over for his bay. And he makes a warning track catch. Our Geico quotes of the night. There will be a lot of cousins and uncles I never met. The true friends, they didn't even ask me for tickets. They just said they were going to be there. I'm managing in his hometown.
Yeah, he has enough things to think about tonight in the pass list.
Here's Cody. He's driven in 2. Cody now with 7 homers. Igarashi bounces that one up. We said earlier that Gordy and Bobby had done such a nice job of cabling. Apparently they had help. Chris, Victor, and Dasha as well. We'd like to extend our thanks to those hard workers. Do they have to uncable it too? Liner into right center field. It's a base hit for Luciano. Over to pick it up. Cody with 3 consecutive hits. He's 3 for 4.
And how many times do we talk about that Cody Ross swing in that area, right center? He's locked in well. And Braves scoring 3 times off Steven Strasburg to take a 3-0 lead. I think a lot of people were curious about that start. Not that he's given up a ton of runs, but he's pitched some games against teams not quite the stature of the Atlanta Braves so far.
It's 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th.
It's the second straight start, too, now that his club can't score when he's out there.
That's Zach Greinke-like. Igarashi has fallen behind, now 3-0. And Mike Stanton on deck. Lost him. This could be an interesting at bat for Stanton because everybody knows he has struggled. And his first 2 at bats, he bounced out and didn't hit the ball that hard. His last time up, he had an absolute bolt that Reyes caught it short.
You know, when Reyes came off the field, because that was the 3rd out, he was shaking his hand the whole way off. That ball stung him so hard.
The Phillies tonight are getting pounded by Cincinnati 7-1. Igarashi misses outside. This is the spot where you're looking for that aggressive swing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all right. That's okay. Turn him loose, got a good pitch, a fastball. Maybe up a little bit, but you know what? It was aggressive.
Single by Cody, walk to Paulino.
Use the other swing when you get 2 strikes.
1-2.
Now he has to go into a little different mode.
(7-3) lead for the Fish, hitting here in the bottom of the 8th. Game 1 of 3 in San Juan. Stanton drives it left field and deep. Back goes Bay to the wall. Gone!
There's a little aggression, and that was even with 2 strikes.
Mike Stanton with his second big league home run. 3rd homer of the night for the Fish.
Overall, that was a terrific at bat. He had a good swing, fouled back a fastball, missed another fastball, and then gets a little floater, kind of came in on him and sends it into those bleachers. Nicely done, Mike Stanton. So he's hit 2 home runs. One's been a grand slam, the other a 3-run shot.
Wes Helms gets his first at bat of the ball game. He takes a breaking ball for a strike. 10-3, Marlins on top.
Well, good sign. The Marlins have touched up a bullpen that's been pretty good.
Yeah, just 1 run in 26 1/3 innings coming into this one. And the Marlins have torched him for 6. Situation, obviously, we need to use Leo Nunez, Jose Veras, as the Marlins have played long ball to put a big cushion between themselves and the Mets.
Yeah, it changes the look a little bit in the 9th inning. So we see Jose Veras out there.
This is a Ricky Nolasco game to win. 7 innings for Nolasco.
A lot of good things to talk about tonight, Rich.
Ricky gave up 3 runs, struck out 9, didn't walk anybody.
At one point retired 15 in a row.
Ryan Sanchez, scoreless 8th inning. Here's Veras now to face the Mets and Jesus Feliciano. For 3 night, the Mets have just 5 hits with their 3 runs, and all 3 of their runs have come on Jason Bay homers. Nice play by Cantu, and there's an out here in the 9th.
Yeah, Bay with those 2 home runs, those are the only extra base hits for the Mets. The other 3 hits singles.
Isanori Takahashi Nate Robertson will go tomorrow night. It's a Chris Bolstad, Mike Pelfrey matchup in the final game of the series on Wednesday.
And the Marlins about to tag the first loss of the year on the knuckleballer, R.A. Dickey. You know, talking about so many good things happen. Obviously, the offense putting up 10 runs, some home runs, 3 home runs, but it all begins with the solid start of Ricky Nolasco.
Two. The breaking ball, and it backed right off the plate. Ball and 2 strikes. David Wright having a very good year.
He has certainly rebounded from a year that had a lot of Met fans questioning. Last year, just 10 home runs, 72 RBIs, 14 home runs already, and 61 RBIs already.
So he's having an MVP type season.
Yes, he is.
Because he always gives you that great defense at third base.
Gives you the extra base hits, 22 doubles this year.
Marlins Live coming up after the ball game. We'll show you all the long balls tonight. That one's over Uggla's head. Cody picks it up. Wright has his 2nd hit. South Florida Ford Spotlight tonight on Ricky Nolasco.
Well, we mentioned at one point he retired 15 straight. Good curveball, the split, the changeup, got a couple of strikeouts for him. Spotted the fastball. So basically what you're seeing is all of his pitches on target tonight. Another fastball there. How about the double? Ricky Nolasco, a 1-hopper out of here for a double. He didn't like that game in Baltimore. Couldn't hit there.
There is Ike Davis.
And Ricky is going to give Edwin Rodriguez his 2 wins so far.
That's right. It was Ricky's start in Baltimore, the first start after Freddie Gonzalez had been fired that morning.
See some funny stats in a game like tonight with the Mets scoring their 3 runs on the home runs of Jason Bay. The Mets tonight with runners in scoring position are 0 for 0.
Randy St. Clair just making sure that somebody's loose in case Veras can't find the plate again.
It's just not a point where you want to start walking guys.
He pumps across a couple strikes. It's 3-2. Scott Strickland up,
a former Met.
In the air, left center. Coughlin settles. And there are 2 outs. Here comes Jason Bay. Will Edwin Rodriguez be the manager when the Marlins return home after the All-Star break?
A lot of questions. A lot of things spinning around in the news.
Marlins today with no comment on any Bobby Valentine questions. Reports differ as to whether Valentine is a candidate or is not. Marlins say they have a very active search for a manager right now. Both of Bay's homers have been to right field. That one just fouled. Chip Hale at third base.
Yeah, third base coach Chip Hale razor shines over at first base for the Mets.
Chip Hale was part of Bob Melvin's staff last year and then stayed on when A.J. Hinch took over in Arizona. One and two. Rodriguez, of course, played in the big leagues for parts of 3 seasons. Has managed here in Puerto Rico. He's also been a general manager here for teams in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he was telling me before the game he's managed here. He's played here. He's coached here. And so how fitting to come back home, be the first Puerto Rican manager in the major leagues at a ballpark that was named after the first Puerto Rican who played in the major leagues back in the early 40s.
Iran Vitor. Strike 3. Game over. Marlins win it. And that's got to feel pretty good for the native son. Edwin Rodriguez, the Florida Marlins, beat the New York Mets and beat them decisively 10-3 is the